If you don't think TikTok is going to be banned here in the United States, if you think it's going to, the Supreme Court's going to say, yeah, it's going to be okay, let it stay on the App Store, you're in for a rude awakening because it is 100% going to be banned. And I'm going to give you a prime example of why it's going to be banned and how TikTok isn't really doing anything about it. The first thing you have to understand is that TikTok is not, how we say, in the United States, we're not their biggest creators. Only make up 2% of their revenue. And TikTok already said that we're not going to sell that off. And the reason why is because if you sell that off, you sell off their algorithm, and then countries in the United States will just kind of use that algorithm against Byte Dance, who owns it, in other countries. And then that way they're a competitor, and then it's no bueno. But when you start pulling things away and you start really understanding the argument in which why the United States is saying it needs to be banned, it's because while they're saying China, they're saying pretty much any country could use its algorithm in a way that could influence certain things on TikTok or get you to a point to where you only see certain things. And you're probably saying that's physically impossible. That doesn't make any sense. But if you've been paying attention to world events, things that happen in Georgia, things that happen in Romania, and things that are kind of happening to accounts like mine, you would go, oh no, they are able to persuade certain things to happen on this platform, on TikTok, and it's going to be a problem. So for those who don't know, Russia has multiple, whether you can call them troll farms or bot farms in different countries. Most of them being, at least from the analytics I see on my channel, are in different countries inside of Africa. There's been multiple articles about this online and how, this got shut down, that got shut down. And the most recent one, you'll read about what happened in the Romanian election, in which declassified information showcased, and they don't say Russia per se, they showcased that someone had created somewhere between 25,000 and 55,000 accounts and were spamming certain accounts to make sure those information gets throttled down, and also putting money through certain accounts to throttle up certain posts. Obviously, they've pointed out to it being that it was Russia and that Russia has done that, which is similar to what they did in Georgia. And so, as we were finding out that it has happened in the past, it has happened recently in Romania, because those elections were only about a month ago, you could start realizing that, yes, so this is something that happens. And then you're starting to say, well, what about the data? And that's where my account comes in. My account is a pro-Ukrainian account. And every X amount of weeks, it goes through these kind of ebbs and flows about like information will get out. You can get on the correct channel and information can get to who needs to be to, because ultimately your feed on TikTok is your feed. So if you start Googling certain things, after a while, those are the only videos you'll see. And as you're scrolling through those videos and you're seeing videos that you like, every once in a while they'll interject a video that maybe it's not usually in your niche, and then afterwards they'll ask you a question. They'll say, was this appropriate? Was this something you liked? Is this something that was great? Is this something X, Y, and Z? And if it's great, you say okay, and then they actually push that video out further. But when you say no, they throttle down that video. And that is what Russia does to many videos of people like me, in which you upload a video and, in the past, my videos would take off really quickly, and then, you would get to whatever views. And between that and Russians, the spam bots, targeting certain videos and saying, oh, he's selling a weapon in this video, even though you're not. Or, hey, this goes against community guidelines, even though it doesn't. Or this is misinformation, even though you're reading a report from the BBC or NBC News or Ukrainian news sources. And even though you could appeal those videos and you'll win that appeal and they'll go back online, it still puts a hinder on the account, and then you can't build yourself out of it, or it takes a week or 2 weeks. And that's exactly what happens with my account, where, like today, I did a video talking about how Russia had launched about 300 air targets into Ukraine. And that video got hit for being misinformation, even though I read a report straight from the Kyiv Independent, which had been verified on BBC News, had been verified on ABC News. So it was information that would not be misinformation. And so what did I do? I appealed it. They said, yeah, you're right. There's no misinformation here. And then for an hour, the video got 10 views. See how that happens? They're able to manipulate what news is getting out there, what things are being seen. For example, I was going live talking about how horrible what Russia is doing to Ukraine, because ultimately what they're doing is they're trying to take down the heat, and they're trying to take down electricity so Ukrainians are cold or in the dark come wintertime. And I said, that's a terrorist thing. I said, and I hate Russians for that. That's horrible behavior. And what happened? It got banned for hate speech. And I went to appeal it, and they said, no, because you said that you hate Russians. And I went, like, technically speaking, I said those words. But if you understood the context of what it is, that's not what it was. And so that's how Russia is able to manipulate TikTok in order to get a certain message or to stop information from going out. And I'm not going to lie to you, that was done during the US elections. We all, as creators, kind of noticed that right after we saw the election happen, everyone's feeds were different. Because either Russia stopped paying certain bots, or certain things started happening, or started making things a little bit different. And after that, everyone's algorithm was different. And the problem is that TikTok knows this is a problem. They don't know how to control this problem. Because, if your feed gets into another country's feed because they're using VPN and things like that, how do you stop that? How do you stop a VPN attack? How do you stop having the system think that you're in the United States when they're really in Africa? There is no way around it. Because, like, for example, when TikTok gets banned, people are like, oh, well, just use VPN. You'll be able to get around it. And guess what? You can. That is one way to get around it. But outside of that, there really is no way for TikTok to stop it. Like, I had reached out to them and said, well, because they know this is a problem. I said, well, let's geolocate that area and block it. Oh, we can't do that. It messes up with the algorithm. Okay, well, we're trying to stop the bots that are located in a certain port. Like, I have the data on accounts that get shut down. Like, I've got a video now that's stuck at 850 views. Okay, that's been up for an hour and 20 minutes. When something like that happens, I can see the data. I can see the cities inside of Africa in which it's happening. So just block that. You can't. It doesn't work that way. And because of those kind of things, the United States is worried that China could do that to our algorithm, or they could take your information that way. I just think that the US government substitutes China for Russia, if you know what I mean. And that's why TikTok is going to be banned. Because in a way, that is a security risk, a national security risk. And there's no way to stop it. That's why this is going to be banned. They don't care. It's a freedom of speech. Once you start saying it's national security, that's what it is. It is what it is. Now, in all honesty, I wish, instead of the US government kind of going behind people's backs and not really telling people the truth, I wish they would just come out and be like, hey, this is what's going on. We know Russia's doing this. We don't know how to stop it. And until it could be stopped, this is what has to be done. That's why they want it to be US owned. Because then there is no way for Russia to manipulate it. It separates it from those other ways. Now, would TikTok still work in a way like that? It would, but not really. It's just a matter of, other countries could still use VPNs to get in. Now, granted, you could argue the fact that Russia's manipulating on X with Rybar and things like that, and on Facebook, which even though it's not been as bad, but Facebook now are so money hungry, everything gets blocked when you share a post. So there is no other alternative, and that's where we're at. TikTok will be banned mostly because of they're able still to manipulate the algorithm, and TikTok does not know how to control that. Now, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. I've got all the data. I've got all the information. I've had reached out to multiple newspapers to talk about all of this. But no one that wants to be that person that says, yeah, TikTok should be banned. And I don't want to be that person who says that. I want TikTok to be fixed. I want it to be fixed so this stuff doesn't happen. I don't want it to go away. Granted, I'm the one who's feeling the burn from this, but I need this to be fixed so that we can have a platform in which we don't have to worry about Russia or China trying to truly suppress all of the information out there. Because if Russia can do that, that's going to be a big problem. Because hypothetically, if they were to try to start a war with us, they can push a certain agenda. And that's the scary part. It's one thing where I'm talking about Ukraine. And the United States, it's, not everyone pays attention to it as much. But if it's something that involves your country and they're suppressing it, it's going to be a big problem. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Be sure to follow me on here. Here on YouTube. We're trying to build up this channel as much as possible. And just follow me for more. Thank you for your support, guys. Stay safe.